want to name that package Servelets. And within here, I'll create the register servlet itself. And for the register servlets, we're only going to need about two methods, which is going to be the do post and do get methods. All the other ones we don't need, so click finish there. Let me just refresh this thing here. All right, so that's our register servlet. So now, the one thing we need to set up within here is the request dispatcher to the register page. So I'm gonna delete everything from there. Then I'm gonna say then within here I'll say register dot JSP. And, oh, okay. By the way, remember to import the request dispatcher itself. Man, come on. I'm gonna copy that then just paste it here. And then I'm gonna have to say forward request and then response. So basically with this, what it's gonna do is that once we hit, actually we need to change this URL here. So I'm gonna say register. Sorry about that. So here where it says web servlet, we have to set that to register so that on the login page itself, what we need to do is we're gonna change that redirect that we did here and then where it says don't have an account. So we're gonna change that from register HTML so to register. And then basically when we click on this, it's basically gonna hit this particular URL, and then this will get into the do get method, and then it will basically render the page and give us the register pages markup. So what else do I need to do? Oh, sorry, I need to save this. I want to delete all these comments here as well, and then delete that over there. Don't need that, and then I'm gonna delete that as well. Right, just want to leave a comment there and say end of do do get method. All right, so that's our request response. So basically, before we even start working here within the do post, there are two other packages that I need to create here, and then there's also something else. I need to also create the SQL statement for registering the users. All right, so within here, I'm gonna say I'm gonna create the application DAO. So I'm gonna just say app and then DAO. Let's just keep it short. Then within here, I'll create a class called, let me just say application DAO. All right. Let me just copy this. All right. So in here, I'm gonna first create a method, which is gonna be public static. It's gonna return a boolean, and then I'm gonna call this register user. And I'm gonna just initiate and say return false for now. Then, so within here, I'm gonna also set the input um, variables that we're gonna need. So apologies for the lagginess. For some odd reason, my computer doesn't is always struggling to handle whether it's Eclipse or Spring Suite. So, but apologies for all the lagginess that you're seeing there. I just want to put a comment here and say register user um, method. I'm just going to leave a comment there again. Okay. So what do we need? Oh, another thing is I want to set the SQL statements here at the top. It's going to be then I want to name this register user. Okay. So for the register user, um, the statement is going to be, I'm going to put some curly braces there, and then I'm going to say call sp dot underscore register user. And from there, I'm going to put the brackets there, and I'm going to put the question marks there. Right. So though there's only about four um, variables that are going to go within the register user, I'll explain the fifth one later on. But as for the statement itself, by the way, when you're using a stored procedure, when you need to execute a stored procedure, you need to put it within these curly braces here, and then the way you call it, you would call it the same way you would within SQL. Now, the other thing is that I didn't need to create a a stored procedure to do this. You can use the regular insert statement that you would when inserting data within the what you call it, within the database. But I just wanted to just show some flexibility here. That is why I'm going for the stored procedure. So now here within my SQL here, what I'll do is below this is the original statement we did when we created the table for our users. And um, as for the fifth, um, as for the fifth placeholder there, that is actually for the salt variable, but that's going to be executed within here, within the register user method itself. That's what I meant when I said I was going to explain this later, but might as well just do it now. So here, what I'm going to do is then what I need to do is delimiter, and then I'll say I think this is what I called it, register users, right? If I want to just double check here, you know what? Let me just copy that there, and I'm just gonna put some curly braces. I mean, some braces there. Then what I need to do is the input fields themselves. So the input variables, I mean, and then that's gonna be varchar. I'm gonna copy this because it's gonna be the same for the last name field as well. I'll paste that again. Say in email. Uh, by the way, these um these variables, these properties that we're setting here, they need to be exactly the same as the ones that you set up here within the table. So for the email one, it's going to be 255. Uh, and then after that, it's the password field, which is also going to be 255. And then I'm going to change that to in password. Then the other one we're going to need is the salt. So I'm going to say in butcher 255. Then I'll say in and then salt. All right, I think we're done for that now. So what I need to say is begin, and double check there. Okay. So in here, we're going to create our insert statement. So it's inserts into the users, and then the fields are going to be first name, last name, email, password, and then salt. And then the values are gonna be first name, last name, email, password, and then salt. Alright, so that's our stored procedure there. So the only thing I need to do now is just run the statement. Apologies for that. I actually need to select the database first and then run the statement. Okay, so our stored procedure is created. So now that's the one we're going to use here. So within here, within the method, what we need to now do is set the connection. So first we're going to say I'll say connection, and then say connect, and then I'm going to set it to null initially. And then from there, what we're going to need is the result set variable. And I'll say result set. I'll just call it set. Also set it to null initially. Uh, by the way, also remember to import these variables we're gonna need. The other variable we're gonna need is the random salt variable. And then for that, we're gonna say byte, which is going to be an array, and I'm gonna say random salt. And then remember, we created that method within the password class there, which is random salt byte. So what we need to do is here within here we're gonna say uh, password hash dot random salt byte. Okay. Now we're gonna need to create our statement there. So within here we're gonna say we're gonna call the connect variable, and then we're gonna say equals to db connection dot get connection, and this needs to be within a try catch block. Well, actually no. Let's do this. But it throws declaration there at the top there. All right, and then from there we're gonna prepare the statement. And if you remember, that's our register user statement there. Just one moment, please. There. Apologies for that, guy. I actually made a mistake here. I put an equal sign there where I shouldn't. Okay, so we need to import the statement as well. By the way, make sure it's the java.sql, not the MySQL one. Okay. All right. Sorry for that, guys. I needed to put this within a try-catch block. Um, I need to put this here. Apologies, guys. I don't want to sound like a broken record over here, but the equipment that I have at the moment at my disposal is currently failing me, so I'm gonna have to record these videos bit by bit. So where we left off the last time I was here, we need to now set the data for the to be stored within the database. So here, underneath the prepared statement, I need to say set okay. The other thing I need to do here is actually hash the password. Okay, so what I need to say is string. Actually, I need to rename this to salt, and then what I'll do here is say pass hash dot hash password. Then I'm gonna take the password from the input field there and then set it to that. In fact, I'm actually lying. I'm supposed to be concatenating the salt with the password as well. So I'm gonna say um, plus the salt variable. Then I'm gonna convert it to string. So I need to convert it to string because within the database here, when it's being stored, it's not gonna allow it as just a random sort byte variable. So I have to convert it to string here. So now what I need to do is here beneath here where it says prepared statement, I'll have to say statement or set string, and then the first argument needs to be the parameter value. So it's going to be 1 and then first name. Okay, so just remember the first the first parameter is going to be first name, last name, email, and password, and then the last one is going to be the salt variable, which is going to be the last one we need to store. So what I'm going to do is copy this and paste it 5 more times or 4 more times, sorry. Then I'll say last name, email, and then password. Well, actually, the value we need to store is this one here that we created, the hashed password value. And then copy that, and then we want to paste it there. And then we're going to save the salt value as well as our last variable. So then we're going to need to change that and say to change that and say 3, change that and say 4, change that and say 5. All right. So just to explain one last time, um, the salt value needs to be stored within the database. Otherwise, we won't be able to um, rehash the password the user is putting into the login field, which is in the field of the login form. And we're going to need this value in order to compare the two values stored within the password, stored within the database, and the one also stored also the one the user is inputting into the password field within the login form. I hope that makes sense. Execute the statement. All right, so what I'm going to do is say int uh, rows. I'm going to call this rows affected, and then I'm going to say equal to statement dot execute update. Now, apologies again, guys. I actually made a mistake. We don't actually need the result set within this particular method. And here I'm going to say for affected rows. And then here I'm going to put an if statement. Then I'll say if rows affected is more than 1, then within here I just want to also put a sys statement, and I'll say system out print. Okay, so that's the end of the if statements there. So with that variable there, we're going to check if there are rows affected when we store this information. Well, actually, after we execute the statement there. If not, I'm just going to copy this there.